Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm just realizing I think I'm standing in a place that you might not have seen on this farm before. I don't know if I've ever recorded back here, but I know in my last video I said that I'd give an update on the progress of the work around the shed and see what it's looking like. But to be honest, there has been no progress. The guys had to go away to another job and I'm in no rush for this really, so hopefully they'll be back next week now and they can finish off. But I'm just at the back of the shed here now, so our cattle come out that door here, they'll come over here and they go up the crush here, so that's where he's cleared outside the crush as well. But I just wanted to show you what he's done so far. So he's kind of done all the scraping away work and it's ready to be filled with pencil. We are going to get him to dig a channel here with the mini digger, so it'll come out from the shed there where we put the new channel in to take away all the excess effluent and stuff, and it'll just go into the tank right here. So there won't be a massive fall, but it'll need to be built up here anyway, so it should be enough. And it should tidy up back there as well. There are more plans for back there as well, all part of the new crush and handling system going in there. And I'll obviously show you that when it comes to it. But yeah, no proper update yet, I'm afraid. So that's about all you're going to get now today on that. But today's video is going to be something different, because I don't have anything to show you there. And I'm basically going to do a video on our feeding routine, what we're feeding, why we're feeding it, when we're feeding it, and who is feeding it. Because I often get comments saying, you know, fair play to you for doing it all on your own. But I actually don't do it all on my own. And that's probably my fault for portraying it like I do it all on my own, but I don't. My dad basically takes the day shift when I'm working, and then I take the evening shift when I'm home from work. And you're probably wondering, like, how is that, you know, because obviously his injury. But we do things in such a way that then Dad is able to do his thing while I'm away during the day. I could come down and feed them in the mornings as well, but when you have a mop of hair like this and you're working with silage, it's very difficult having to go into an office then. I would have to be washing my hair every morning before work. I prefer to do it in the evening, let it dry naturally, and it's a lot easier. So it's just really helpful that Dad can then come down and do this for me instead. I said I'd do the video now because everything is pretty much in full swing, between the cows getting what they need to get, these guys being finished, and the weanlings trying to grow them and all that. So that is what today's video will be like. I am going to try and set up the camera to show Dad doing what he does, because I think it will probably be interesting for people. I think you've probably seen me do it multiple times, but I don't know if anybody has actually seen Dad when he's down here and he's feeding the cattle. So I'm going to try and set up the camera and show that as well. I think this video will probably be a mix of me talking, but also some voiceovers. And I have no idea how it's going to turn out, to be honest. I have not put enough thought into this video, but hopefully it will look after itself. It's good timing today because this is my day off, but Dad will still always come down in the morning and feed them, even when I do have a day off. Sometimes if I'm out early, I'll just get down here before him and I'll be able to do it. But this morning he's been down, he's fed them and the whole lot. So it's good today. You'll see exactly what I look at when I come down here. So I'm going to turn the camera and just give you an idea now. So this is generally what I'll be looking at every evening when I come home from work. And that is, you'll have your silage in front of your young stock and the finishers, and then you generally have pretty much no silage left in front of the cows. That is because these guys are getting silage ad lib. We want them eating as much as they can at all times and not wanting for any food. But then with the cows, we need them to drop a bit of weight and drop a bit of fat before they calve early next year. So we try and restrict their silage to a certain extent. You can see here we have no bales left to feed, so I'm going to start the entire process of the feeding now and show you that, along with what meal we feed them, how much we feed them. I might talk a little bit about our silage results this year, because I think I've forgotten to do that and we got the results ages ago. We also have this little man over here, what we're doing with him. I must put that ladder away. Actually, myself and Dad were measuring up for a new project that hopefully you'll see in maybe 2 weeks' time, if I can get the chance to do it. But yeah, I'll start, and as I said, do a bit of voiceover, do a bit of talking, and we'll see how this goes. Well, now this will be the fun part, trying to do a voiceover for a whole video, but let's start. So first thing I did today was give the cows their treat. I always give the treats to the cows, so it'll be bread I've left over, peels from the dinner, if there's potatoes that have started to sprout, anything like that we bring down. But we'll always give it to the cows, because the younger stock get their meal and to them that's their treat, whereas we don't want the cows to feel left out, so they have to get their little bit as well. You'll always have the same savages every time: Snowflake, Misty, the Limousine and Isabella. They always fight for it. Poor Norma and Sinead, they're just too shy for it. But once that's done, the most important job is out of the way, and I am just cleaning out the silage from under the cows, because you can be sure that anything that is left under the cows at that point, when I have come down to them, they don't want it. There's something wrong with it, or it's not tasty, whatever it might be. I won't do that every day. I might just do that every 2 or 3 days even. But I do it ever so often, because I don't want to have it building up, basically. And then some people have, tires that they push along with their tractors and fancy silage pusher thingy-majiggies. I do not. I use my pike and I just push it down with me. So I'll always take from the younger stock first. What I used to do actually was I'd take from the weanlings, give it to the stores, and whatever had been in front of the stores I'd give to the cows, whereas now I just take the whole lot and give it to the cows, because they will clean up anything that is left over, really. It would be, as you saw there, what I cleaned out earlier. That's the only thing that would ever be left there. So this is how I do it. Nothing fancy. I don't bother with a wheelbarrow or anything. I think it's just as handy. The only thing is it can be a little bit slippy sometimes if the silage is wet, but that wasn't a problem this time. And you just fly down. It brings any little bit of meal that's with it as well. And then I go over to this young fella as well, and I take what's in front of him as well. He's not eating much silage, so anything that is left over goes in there, and his little bit of straw that was mixed in as well, that goes into the cows as well, and they'll eat the whole lot. Then after that, you might wonder, what is she at here now? This is basically silage that was left over from the cows the day before, maybe 2 days ago, I'm not sure now, and I'll spread it out to dry it. And that's because I want a nice cushion for this little man here, just to help with his problems, let's call it, and his joints. So I want him to have a nice soft bed there. So I'll just make sure that the silage is nice and dried out, because there's no point in having it wet underneath him. And that goes in there, and he's very excited about it, as you can see. You wouldn't think there's anything wrong with him there then. But off then to get some straw, because I'm obviously not just going to give him a bed of silage. The silage really is there just for extra cushioning and maybe a little bit of soakage under the straw. But the straw is his main bed. As you can see, we went with the small bales this year, working out really, really well. Much easier to manage, much easier to store. So to be honest now, if I could get small bales again next year, I'd say I'd go for them. They're I think they worked out a bit more expensive. I probably should have done the maths on that. I might yet, but no, the small bales, just definitely, everything stays tidier. They can be stacked a lot easier. So yeah, happy with the straw. He'll start eating his bed now. That's what he usually does. And then I'm back out, spreading out some more silage here now. And that'll just dry out now for another day or two. And that'll go in again, and I'll just layer up. And I'll just keep layering up until it gets to a point where I probably have to clean him out. But for me, the thicker, the better there for him. And then it's just a sweep of the passageway, just because it was getting a bit manky looking. So I said, do you know what? We'll keep it nice and clean, keep on top of things, and keep the place looking some way smart. So this is what it looks like. They're still tipping away at the silage here. I thought they'd be done with it, but probably don't want a whole lot more. I'll leave them tip away at it. This fella stole a bit for himself here as well. But I'll leave them tip away there while I start to bring in the bales, and once I get around to piking, then I'll just clear what's in front of them. The rest of them are absolutely chilling on their mats there behind me. But yeah, we'll get the bales in now. Now, before anybody says, geez, that's an awful looking bale, that's a 2024 bale. So you'll see it's a little bit squashed and it doesn't look the best there, but that's because it's been stuck in back there for well over a year now. I actually had a lot more of last year's bales than I thought. I'd say there was a good 25 of them there, I'm thinking. I think after this one now, I have another 5 maybe to go. And we're just feeding those to the cows. So we don't want to feed that stuff to the younger stock because we want the better silage going to them. Whereas with the cows, they need a bit of condition knocked off them. Don't think it's knocking any condition off them as far as I can see anyway. But look, the silage wasn't bad last year, but there's no doubt about it. It was a lot wetter than this year's stuff. So that goes to the cows. And then you're probably saying, why are you going in at the stack at that angle and making life difficult for yourself? It's because we have a system for what we're feeding the young stock as well. So everything out at the front there is actually second cut of our reseed, but again, we don't want to be giving that to the young stock because the DMD is lower in that than it is on this stuff, which is our first cut reseed. So we want to be giving all the young stock every bale of the first cut reseed that we can, just to make sure they're getting the highest quality silage we have. I thought obviously the cows would be onto the other stuff now, so I'd be able to pick a bale of second cut for the cows and then first cut for the young stock, but it's not working out that way just because I ended up having so many of last year's bales left over. So it's a little bit awkward for myself, but it doesn't matter. I want to give these guys the good silage. In fairness, the silage results came back and the results were very similar for all. Yes, the DMD is lower on the second cut, but apart from that, like protein levels and everything were very similar. The second cut is extremely dry though. I think the dry matter came back at something like 42% on those second cut bales, whereas this stuff here, the first cut, I'm pretty sure was around 26% or that way, which is what you want it at. So it'll be interesting to see now if the other second cut bales we open are a bit mouldy from being too dry or what, but we'll see. Also, a lot of people tell me to open the face of the bales, and it means, you know, you only have to get out of the tractor once to unwrap them. I keep forgetting, so that's why I don't. But once the bales are in, then I'm on to feeding the meal. So the young stock, or that's not the young stock, that's the stores. So you'll see their tipsy bin is tipped already, so they're getting through the meal there. They're up to 5 kg of meal each a day. So that's me giving them their lot of it there. So I give them half on my shift. And then whilst they're doing that, I'm off to give 2 kg to the small man. And then I'm just preparing the other stuff for the young calves. So they're getting, or the weanlings, I shouldn't call them young calves, they're getting 2 kg a day. So I give them 1 kg. And while again I'm waiting for the stores to finish up, I'll just feed the silage to the young cattle. In fairness, they are getting through a good bit of silage, but I suppose they are only on the 2 kg. The meal we're giving them, like, it's just good ingredients. We get it from Howard Farms. We've gotten it from them for the last 2 years, just because they're really good for delivering. I found it really difficult to get other places to deliver. But like, the ingredients are really good as well. Rolled barley, maize, soya bean hulls, soya bean distillers, dried grains. You know, there's no rubbish in it. The list of ingredients is really short. So we'll weigh them there now again in a few weeks and see how they're doing. But while they're eating their meal, I'm on to giving more silage to the cows. Now, you'll probably say, why are you putting it out so wide there? But that is the setup for the morning. So I'll feed the cows always, and then I'll do a row just outside what I've fed them. So that's there for Dad in the morning. Feeding some straw to these guys as well, just because they are on their 5 kg of meal. The straw there is just basically designed to slow down the digestion, so that the meal just isn't coming out the other end, basically. We've just started giving the cows their pre-calving minerals as well, just as of this week. So they say to aim for 6 to 8 weeks before calving with the calving minerals, just kind of for optimum uptake of them, really. For our cows, we can't stop one from taking it when we need another one to take it. So Sinead is the first calve, and she'll be calving in January. So look, all the others are going to have to get it as well. Some people might say that's a waste of minerals because you're giving it to them for too long. I actually met a man in Albufeira, of all places, and he kind of works in mineral deficiencies and things for cows. And he said, ideally what you want to do is test them for any deficiencies, bring them up to the level, and then when you're giving them their minerals like that, you're just trying to keep them at a level. We don't do that, but surely it does something, doesn't it? And the last thing to do here then is just to kind of set the place up for Dad in the morning, so the trucks are moved into position. And that's it for me this evening anyway. Everybody has been looked after. The last thing I do when I finish off is I check that Dad can move around the bales. So I take a little bit longer to plonk down the bales because I'm always trying to keep them close enough to the barrier but not too close that they're pulling all the silage in. But I need to leave enough room so that Dad can manoeuvre around the place out here. You can see we have a timber across the channel there, and we have another one down here then as well. So he can go over and back because he does all the meal feeding during the day. But yeah, this is them done. They're acting up something awful this evening. They're not hungry, that's why. It's because I'm not a bit earlier, but I don't want to be leaving it until 6-7 o'clock to come down here on a Sunday evening when I'm off either. So I do just get it done earlier in the day so I can enjoy my evening. But yeah, they're not overly impressed with me. But that's it from me. I will hopefully get some footage up next of Dad and what he does in the mornings down here. He's usually down to the the guys between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning. He's always out early. And yeah, we'll get a bit of footage of that and we'll see how that goes. Now, I managed to get the footage of Dad down here in the morning and what he does to feed the cattle. I'm not going to do a full voiceover for this because nobody needs to listen to my voice for a full 28-minute video. So what I'll do is I'll just put some music over it, let you watch what he does. I have purposely not done much time lapse on this because I want people to actually see the process, because one thing you will probably notice with this is it's very methodical what he does, and he very much has a system and he follows it. So it might just be something a bit different for people and a bit more interesting than watching me do it anyway. So I'll let you have a look. well, I'm back down this evening for the evening feeding, and I said, you've surely seen enough of us feeding the cattle now at this stage, so I didn't record any of what I did. Dad actually came down before I got home and fed them their meal, so it really speeds things up a nice bit as well. I'm just after giving the weanlings a bit of straw there as well. They don't want to touch it, but they might pick away at it overnight. I just give it to them because I don't give it to them every day. I just kind of maybe give it to them 2 or 3 times a week even. I just think it's no harm to give them a small bit of it. For the amount they get now, I don't know, does it do much good, but that's where we're at now. I'll probably leave the video here. I just said I'd give you a proper look at how it goes and how we work it over the winter. And that is pretty much it there in a nutshell. I thought I might ask Dad to do the voiceover for his bit, but I think I might be asking a bit much now. I'd say it was enough now to have him on camera doing it without asking him for that. But that's it, all happy out here, and it's time for me to have my dinner now. So as always, thank you for watching. If you liked it, give me a like, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Thank you.